Going? Welcome, class. Today we're going to be finalizing our discussion on Patrick Henry's speech, the one that ends with give me liberty or give me death, which is probably the most famous of his quotes and specifically the most famous part of this speech, or that's what people know the most. You'll hear that quoted often. Now remember, this is the speech that he gave to the Second Congress of Virginia. And this was done in March 23rd, 1775. Would you push your glasses up so we can? Okay, serious now. We're having a lot of fun with what we're learning, but we need to stay focused on what we're accomplishing here. Okay, now I think I asked you yesterday at the end of class to find an image of Patrick Henry and be able to share with us a few points of interest to you about his life. Hunter, would you go first?
Sure. Here's the picture I found.
If you hold it up a little bit, the camera might get it better.
And this is the stuff I got. Patrick Henry was born on May 29th, 1736 in Hanover County in the colony of Virginia. Is considered to be the backbone of the American Revolution.
Very good. Anything else?
As a child, he attended the Presbyterian church with his mother and listened to the fiery preaching of Samuel Davis. This is where he learned that the power of Christianity gave man courage to do great things. It was in church that he also learned the power of strong oration, or the power of strong words in speech.
Thank you, Hunter. Those were very good and very interesting. I didn't realize it was in church that he learned how important words were. And anyway, when you told us that he learned the power of strong words in oration or in strong words in speech, what do you think were some examples from the speech that we've read and looked at? Can you think of a few examples, or one even? Just think of something that you've looked at that you thought kind of felt powerful to you.
Well, I think that this part where he says there is no longer any room for hope, I kind of think that's saying that they've worked really hard and they still are at the same place where they were before. And
isn't that right after the part where he's gone through the different things that they've done with the King of England and to try to come to a place where they can agree, but he just feels like nothing has worked and so there is no more hope. Yes, that's a great example of just like, okay, we've done all we can do. There is no more hope. And you're like, okay, we need to listen to him. Is that kind of what you're saying?
yeah.
I like that. I appreciate that. Okay, Dallin, have you got some points of biographical information for us?
So this is my picture of Patrick Henry. And so what I found, so first off, he's homeschooled. He was self-taught and he was educated by his father and his uncle. When he was in April 15th, 1760, I'm not sure how old he was anyway, but he was working with his uncle in a tavern. It was right across from the courthouse, and he became rather interested in law. So on April 15th, 1760, he passed the Virginia bar exams, and he became a lawyer. One of his most famous cases is the Parsons Cause. The government of the King of England had negated the Two-Penny Act passed by the Virginia General Assembly, which was that Virginia could choose how much that their clergy were paid in tobacco, and Patrick Henry argued that if the king would go against a ruling made by the people of their own best interest, then he was a tyrant who forfeits the allegiance of his subjects. Anyway, so it was pretty powerful. And then 1763, also, he was elected to the Virginia House of Burgesses, which was the first legislative assembly of the elected representatives in North America. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I found.
Very interesting. So he actually became a lawyer, which probably also helped him be able to put his thoughts together quickly. I also like what you shared, Hunter, that he's considered by many as the backbone of the American Revolution. When you think of that idea of a backbone, do you get any images in your head or thoughts about that? What is a backbone?
Like your spine.
Okay, if you didn't have a backbone, how would you be?
In a huge pile.
Kind of floppy, like a
Because-
blob.
Yeah, that holds all your bones here up.
So if he's the backbone, is that a pretty important part of our founding fathers?
Yeah.
It seems like he knew a lot and he was able to express himself such that he got a lot of people excited and understanding the importance of what they were about to do.
I kind of think that if he hadn't done this whole speech, then we'd still be in slavery and such.
In bondage to England, possibly.
Well, I think also that most people, consider George Washington as, or Thomas Jefferson as the backbone of the Revolution and of New America. And though they were very important, I don't think that I think very many people tend to look over, the other important people like Patrick Henry or Nathaniel Hale or, different people like that. Anyway, so I just kind of want to point that out.
Very good. Okay, well, let's look at your speeches, your copies of the speeches, and I want you to just think about it for a minute. We've read it a few times, and we've discussed some aspects. I'm going to ask you this one question, and then you can each have a chance to answer. From the words of his speech, do you feel like Henry believes they've done all that they can do in nonviolent ways to address their grievances with England?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any proof from the speech that can support your opinion?
Well, just something that I noticed here.
Where are you, so we can follow?
It is the 6th paragraph, the 2nd sentence. Says, "Sir, we have done everything that could." Patrick Henry is addressing the President of the House of Virginia Legislative. Anyway, he's addressing the Virginia House of Commons or something.
Would that have been the House of Burgess? I'm not sure. As a teacher, I need to learn that, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so he says, "Sir, we have done everything that could be done to avert the storm which is now coming on. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated ourselves before the tyrannical hands of the ministry and Parliament. Our petitions have been slighted, our remonstrances have produced additional violence and insult, our supplications have been disregarded, and we have been spurned with contempt from the foot of the throne." So he's listing, we've gone to them, what do you want? How can we do this? Will you stop beating us? We'll do pretty much anything except to come back to you because we don't want to come back to you because it was worse than we're living right now. And they're like, well, no, because we don't care about you, So, seriously, there was nothing else that he could have done.
Okay. What do you feel about that? Do you think that's a good example of all the things that they have tried to do?
Yeah.
What about your thoughts? Is there a place that you feel?
Well, on paragraph 11, he's saying, "Forbid it, Almighty God, I know not what course others may take, but for me, give me liberty or give me death.
That's pretty powerful. Give me liberty or give me death. I'm willing to die for what? What is liberty?
Not where nobody tells you what to do and you have nothing to say.
Earlier in the speech, he referred to England's control as an example of. He described being in chains, forged the chains.
Hunter was talking about in that last sentence where he says, give me liberty and give me death. And I know that we're talking about Patrick Henry and not Nathaniel Hale, but I rather look up to Nathaniel Hale, and I think that last part of this speech and Nathaniel Hale's dying words, or last words anyway, are rather similar. Nathaniel Hale said, "My only regret is that I have one life to give for my country." He was a spy for America, and he was caught by the British, and so I think just how amazing and how I wish that we could all be like these men. Give me liberty or give me death. I wish that I could die more times for my country, and so
That's pretty strong too. I really liked what you shared there, and I liked how you expounded upon it. It would be interesting to find out the relationship. I'm sure they knew each other. I would guess that they knew each other, but to find out exactly if they did and how well they knew each other, and if perhaps Nathan Hale's final words were maybe inspired by Patrick Henry's speech. That's good. Okay, I have one last question for you, Hunter. How do you think Patrick Henry was when he gave this speech? Do you think he was just sitting at a table and talking to the people?
I think he was like sitting straight and like basically not shouting, but not just like yeah, for me, give me liberty or give me death.
You don't think it was like that? How do you think it was?
More like, give me liberty or give me death.
I think I'm certain he wasn't sitting. He might be, but back in that day, they stood at the podium that they were speaking from, and they didn't have a microphone, so they had to speak much louder. So it wasn't like shouting, but it was very loud and pronounced. Give me liberty or give me death. I will say it 10 more times if I have to, so you understand me. I will shout it in your ear. Anyway.
Okay. Well, I feel like we've had a pretty good discussion, and I really like the things that you guys have pointed out about Patrick Henry's life and parts of the speech that were meaningful to you and powerful to you, inspirational.
Sorry. It's not that this class is boring. It's very not boring. I'm just tired.
Okay. Thank you, student son.
You're welcome. Teacher mother.
Okay. We gotta finish this up. What I'd like you to do tonight, for your last assignment, is to think of something that you are interested in, that you have an opinion of, either of what's going on in the world right now, so a news event, or something that you would like to change in your home or in your community that you feel passionate about. And then would you just put together a speech using the strongest words to try and convince either your parents or your community or people reading the news of your opinion. This doesn't have to be really long. A couple of strong paragraphs would suffice. And I'll give extra credit to anyone who would like to get more information on the relationship or friendship that Patrick Henry and Nathan Hale may have had. And extra credit if you would like to write a little essay, a 1 to 2 page essay, your opinion of if Nathan Hale's final words upon his death, if you feel were inspired by Patrick Henry, but you need to have some proof from other things that they've said or their connections. Okay? Thank you very much. This has been a delightful time together.
Okay.
Thank you for the extra credit.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna.